Yes. What is up, man? What is up? This is Last Call Reacts, a video where I just drop either what's going on, some new stuff, some interesting factoids, or things that happened in the past. And on the show, which is the podcast on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, join us, if you will. And this is like my 93rd or so video on here, man. I am very close to 100 videos and podcasts, which is pretty wild, man. So check those out if you don't mind me just taking a second to do that before we dive in. So today I thought I'd do something, fun, interesting, more or less, about something that came up on the show. We were talking about, as you may have guessed if you've seen the thumbnail, and the name of the video is called Brown Sugar. I was going to say somehow we were talking about, but on the podcast, we talk about a lot of music and entertainment and the roots of the music and everything too. And this came up here with the Rolling Stones and the song Brown Sugar. Now, if you haven't heard it yet, or you don't know what I'm referencing, go do that shit. Go do that. Come back when you know at least the song. Don't go looking it up and everything, because we're going to go over that now. But at least be a little familiar. I'm assuming most people know who the Rolling Stones are. So let's go back up and start with that. The Rolling Stones, man, they, you could say they're a rock group. As a kid, I knew the Rolling Stones in the 80s and their sort of rock mix out of that era. As I got older and, went on my music deep dives and stuff like that, I would discover who they are, who they were influenced by, which is all the rock and roll R&B singers, Little Richard, B.B. King, all the blues stuff, all the soul stuff. This is the stuff where all this rock music comes from, right? So we have to appreciate that first as we get into this. Now, back to the song of Brown Sugar. You know what? There's a video here that's going to help me explain it just a little bit better. So I'm going to take, it's only a couple minutes long, but I'm going to break it up and talk about some of the aspects of this as well. All right. So if you're back and you just went to go listen to the song to get a reference, here we go talking about it.
Mick Jagger wrote the lyrics for the Rolling Stones song Brown Sugar. According to Bill Wyman, it was partially inspired by a black backup singer named Claudia Lenier, who was one of Ike Turner's Ikeettes. She and Jagger met when the Stones toured with Turner in 1969. David Bowie also wrote his Aladdin Sane track Lady Grinning Soul about Lanier. American-born singer Marsha Hunt is also sometimes cited as the inspiration for the song. She and Jagger met when she was a member of the cast in the London production of the musical Hair, and their relationship, a closely guarded secret until 1972.
Now hold off there for a minute. So what are they talking about with this Brown Sugar? In case you haven't picked up some of the lyrics, it starts out by saying, and no, I'm not going to sing it, not even close, Gold Coast slave ship bound for the cotton fields, sold in a market down in New Orleans. Then it gets on to some other lyrics, like it starts going brown sugar, how come you taste so good now? So it goes through a whole bunch of different things. Actually, just let me get right to the article with this. So the point of this, people demanded this song when the Rolling Stones went out and performed, that this was just one of the songs that people believe belonged in their set all the time. Like if your artist is there and they don't play one of the hits where, you grew up with or whatever was a quality track from the CD, even though that doesn't happen these days, then you would be disappointed. Now, let me just go into this. So the decision of the Rolling Stones to remove their 1971 song, Brown Sugar, from their set of their upcoming U.S. tour, this was a few months ago, if not a couple years ago, has drawn both praise and criticisms. read by others as a surrender to the woke brigade. You know, that whole when people say that woke stuff that they dropped it. And by others as a reasonable response to the accusation that the lyrics glorify slavery, rape, say that, torture, and PDF files. So all of that stuff is in the song. But what it is, the song itself is a look at a mirror, look at the mirror of American history is what it's doing. Not even just the history, but its particular targeting and persecution of Black women. Very, very powerful song there. They say the song was actually recorded and written in 1969, and then it came out on the album in 1961, album called Sticky Fingers. That's the first time where they used kind of like Jason's Mask is the first time they used the lips symbol, which is another thing in itself. So the lyrics explore sexual exploitation of Black women by slave traders and slave owners in the American South. Back then. Presenting a sexualized view and marginalized groups. And as they say, when you look into the chorus, how come you taste so good now? Brown sugar, just like a young girl should, goes exactly through that. So this rock had a little bit of a message here. Anyway, more of this video before we continue.
Resulted in a daughter named Karis. Even though the song was recorded in December, American-born singer Marsha Hunt is also sometimes cited as the inspiration for the song. She and Jagger met when she was a member of the cast in the London production of the musical Hair, and their relationship, a closely guarded secret until 1972, resulted in a daughter named Karis. Even though the song was recorded in December 1969, the Stones did not release it until April 1971 because of a legal dispute with their former manager Alan Klein over royalties. Recording technology had advanced by then, but they didn't re-record it because they thought the original version was such a powerful take. This was the first song released on Rolling Stones Records, the Stones' subsidiary label of Atlantic Records, and also featured for the first time the now famous tongue for their logo.
Oh, there you go.
The album cover was designed by Andy Warhol. It was a close-up photo of a man wearing tight jeans and contained a real zipper. The bootleg version, which has Eric Clapton playing lead slide guitar, was recorded at a birthday party for Keith Richards. It is widely considered to have been part of an informal new guitar sound he and Ronnie Wood have developed is not Eric's thing. Brown Sugar was a staple of the Rolling Stones set lists until 2021, when they dropped the song. Asked why by the LA Times, Keith Richards said, "I don't know. I'm trying to figure out with the sisters quite where the beef is. Didn't they understand this was a song about the horrors of slavery? But they're trying to bury it." Mick Jagger gave this explanation. "We've played Brown Sugar every night since 1970, so sometimes you think, we'll take that one out for now and see how it goes. We might put it back in."
All right, man. Check that out. Actually, let me give these guys some props. Studio Number 7. Go check these guys out, man. Gave us some of that information as well. As well as there are a lot of other videos that could tell the story as well. I'm just trying to bring it to you. So let's go back over some of the lyrics that I got, or I had in background. There it is. Gold Coast slave ship. So definitely talking about the transatlantic slave trade, right? From the Gold Coast to the cotton fields, especially into New Orleans also. And think of the time. This was back in 69, right? 1969 also. Drums beating, cold English blood runs hot. Lady of the house wondering where it's going to stop. Houseboy knows that he's doing all right. You should have heard him just around midnight. Then it goes Brown Sugar back to the thing. You taste so good now. So it's also suggesting the feelings of forbidden fruit and everything as well. women to men, just a whole big listen. And that's a whole other video in itself for how crazy and perverse the just disgusting the slave trade was, and particularly, to who the victims were. But anyway, what I'm getting to today is brown sugar. Did you know this? Did you know that it was so thematic, or that it well, what do they call it? That it was not even an analogy, that it was a telling of the horrors of the slave trade while people were jamming to that. I do mess with the Rolling Stones and a lot of these groups because, yeah, they finally admitted where their sound came from. But these weren't just the guys that were copying and stuff like a Pink Floyd or, the Beach Boys and stuff like that, where it was kind of commonplace in the industry to do this. These were real students of the game who went out to go seek Muddy Waters and all of these guys, the creators, the bluesmen, the R&B guys. This is where they came up from, and there's a lot of information about that too. But we're more the information. We get this information, but back in those days, they didn't know. That's why they thought Elvis was like the genius when he was not even the creator of the blue suede shoes and all that too. It was another black artist, a woman, who had a lot of those hits before they were taken. Ray Charles also, a lot of these guys. But very neat idea that this song particularly transfers, some of that energy, that knowledge from the mentorship that they got from their experiences, and put it out on their album back in the day. Sort of how these stories live on. Sort of like how these shorts are in Instagram and on YouTube, where somebody does like a cartoon, not a cartoon, actually, animation of like some of these horrors of segregation in this country also. So pretty neat with technology, but just the transferring, using a medium to get a message across. So while people were jamming to this in the 60s and 70s, getting stoned, they were doing it with music behind. Nowadays, you cannot do this unless it's corporate stamped approved. But just one of the things you could dig out in case you didn't know, a little bar convo for you, if you will. Thanks for joining me, man. Let me know if you enjoyed this little juicy historic music nugget, what you knew and what you know or what you didn't know, and if you liked it, like, share, subscribe. Almost 100 videos here, man. And join the podcast live on Friday nights, 9 p.m. with myself, Last Call, and Josephine. Almost 100 episodes there. Who knows where this would go? But if you like it, tag on, man. Appreciate having you. Peace.